no hay mucho que hacer en términos de exopolítica tal como nació en Estados Unidos, es decir, como un movimiento que busca presionar a los gobiernos para que generen desclasificación. ¿Por qué? Porque, por ejemplo, en Chile tenemos el CFA, que es el Comité de Estudio de Fenómenos Aéreos Anómalos, que es dependiente de la Fuerza Aérea de Chile. Y son extremadamente abiertos, entre comillas, en entregar información. Tú vas a las dependencias del CFA, quiero revisar el caso tanto, te pasan el expediente y te puedes quedar ahí en la biblioteca toda la tarde revisando.
En Estados Unidos, la desclasificación de archivos secretos de la Fuerza Aérea parece haber comenzado.
In 1967, I was stationed at Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana. And there, on March 24th, we had a report of a UFO over the facility where I was located. There were just 2 of us underground in control of 10 nuclear missiles. And so the security guard said that there was this object overhead. It was glowing red, oval-shaped. Hard to determine exactly what it looked like, but it was generally oval. It was about maybe 50 feet long and just sitting there silently, quietly. He was very frightened. He had all the guards out with their rifles. At that point, he asked me what should he do, and I'd never experienced anything like that, so I think I just told him, don't let anything inside. So while this object was still above us, the missiles shut down, meaning they couldn't be used, they couldn't be launched. So that's basically what happened. We had to report back to the base, and then we were told to sign a document never to talk about this again.
Creemos en que hay 2 tipos de disclosure o destape. Un destape con mayúscula es aquel que esperamos que el gobierno norteamericano, como primera potencia, revele algún día. Básicamente, el reconocimiento público de que hay presencia alienígena en la Tierra asociada al fenómeno OVNI.
Obviamente la religión, la economía, la ciencia, todos los grandes paradigmas se romperían.
El segundo destape, con minúscula, es este que se está produciendo en instancias como esta, como este congreso, por ejemplo, en el que la reflexión, la conversación, el hecho de que estemos transmitiéndonos mutuamente, comunicando nuestras inquietudes, nuestras preguntas o los escasos datos que tenemos, es parte del destape.
Until 1994, when I read a small paragraph in a book called Above Top Secret, and in there it talked about missiles being shut down in Montana in 1967, so I thought, this is great, now I can talk about it maybe. So I wrote to the Air Force, asked them to declassify it. They declassified the incident, and then I decided to go ahead and talk. Even though later I found out that wasn't my incident. My incident happened a week after the one I read about. But by then I'd already spoken on television and radio, and they were not launchable. That was a missile launch off. Yeah, actually I had 2 phone calls. So technically I was in violation of what I signed, but I've been speaking about this now for almost 20 years, and the military or the government has never come to me and said, stop talking about this. So.
O sea, el destape, el disclosure en Estados Unidos implica decir, lo siento, llevamos 70 años diciendo mentiras, diciendo que son globos meteorológicos, que son globos aerostáticos, 1000 explicaciones absurdas que se han dado en algunos casos sumamente consistentes.
El capitán Robert Salas está seguro de que lo que sucedió en Montana es en realidad un claro mensaje. Cree que la intención de estos seres es evitar que la humanidad se autodestruya con armas nucleares. Pero el capitán Robert Salas vino a la Argentina a contar por primera vez en público su segunda experiencia ovni.
Briefly, I was at home with my wife and children at night, and I see a blue light in the house. I was frightened, started to get up to go check on it, I woke my wife up. She saw the blue light also. But as I started to get up, I became paralyzed. I couldn't move. I looked over at my wife, and she was asleep. Even though we had 2 children in the house, and there was possibly a burglar in the house, she was out. And then I saw some strange creature in the doorway. I couldn't see his face, had a hood on. And then I remember floating off the bed, actually floating in the air and floating towards the window in the bedroom and thinking, they don't know how to open the window, but because I had locked it. So, but I think I went through the window. I don't remember them opening the window. I think I went through the window. So this is a phenomenon. There have been other witnesses that have talked about going through walls, going through ceilings, going through doors. Don't ask me to explain that. I don't know how that is done. But I did find myself on board the ship. They stuck me with a needle this long. And I think they took some sample of my semen. And that's all I remember. That's all I remember at this point. I remembered some of it naturally. Excuse me.
No, it's okay.
I remember some of it naturally, but other parts I had to go through regression, hypnotic regression, in order to remember. I've only had 2 sessions. I'm not, it's a very personal thing. I'm not sure I want to know more at this point. I think I know enough to know that I was taken.
Y 4 militares de alto rango están señalando que para ellos no existen los ovnis, sino las alien spacecrafts, las naves extraterrestres. Señalan que es una realidad, que es una tecnología que va mucho más allá de nuestro entendimiento y que ellos lo hacen por soberanía nacional y por instrucción de su gobierno. Es decir, no son personas que lo estudien por hobby o porque ellos quieren, no. Es una instrucción gubernamental y tienen que dar un informe a sus fuerzas armadas.
Están aquí, ellos están aquí.
La sociedad está enfocada en otra cosa.
Cuando el ser humano empiece a conocer su propia historia, va a saber en qué presente está y cuál va a ser este próximo futuro.
Nadie quiere que crean nada, que piensen. Jorge Suárez decía siempre, yo no quiero convencer de nada. Simplemente pienso que de acá se vayan con interrogantes y que ustedes lo investiguen ustedes, no que me crean a mí, que lo investiguen ustedes, que saquen sus propias conclusiones y que les sirva para dar ese salto hacia una mejor persona, una mejor humanidad.